We've heard a lot about burnout during the pandemic. It's a state of exhaustion basically caused by prolonged stress. As people whose job it is to help everyone else process their emotions, therapists can find themselves taking on a lot of that stress themselves. Our Sydney Stallworth brings us this week's Mental Health Monday.
Like any other health workers, therapists and counselors have been in high demand during the pandemic. I checked in with a few professionals from right here in the Valley, and they tell me even they've had moments where they felt overwhelmed, and the need is only growing.
We have high level of need combined with the fact that every therapist I know has a full caseload.
Other professionals are seeing the same thing.
They can go in their room or in the privacy of their garage or their man cave, for lack of better words, and have a therapy session. So there's been an accessibility, and it has increased the numbers that I think we are seeing as mental health professionals.
There's a lot more emphasis on our profession right now. There's a lot more attention given to it, which on the one hand is amazing because people are finally taking mental health seriously. Thing is, though, there are only so many of us.
I'm full and in fact squeezing in about 3 to 5 extra patients a week.
It's not just more clients. People are in higher levels of distress.
I'm dealing with a lot of crisis calls and high acuity of depression and anxiety, way more than I had been.
According to Good Therapy, over half of mental health professionals report moderate or high burnout. These numbers are expected to only rise during the pandemic. So I asked what these people who care for so many do to care for themselves.
I have been a Nintendo fan since I was a kid, and so I have a Nintendo Switch that when my daughter's getting ready for a bath, I'll just sit on the bathroom floor and play through some Mario or something like that.
Working out or exercising. I am a cake baker.
I enjoy to write. So I say write, journal, poetry, story, whatever you enjoy, whatever your preference may be.
All these professionals say not to let the increase in demand discourage you from seeking help if you need it. If you're looking for help, there are plenty of resources out there. You can find some of those and more Mental Health Monday stories on RocketCityNow.com. Sydney Stallworth, WZDX News.